Your host is a dating strategist and writer who coaches singles on how to find love. Her book, D is for Dating, column on JDate, and many TV appearances have helped hundreds of daters make a match. Whether you're single, married, dating, or anything in between, get ready for a conscious conversation about love in the modern world. Get ready for Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D.
Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D is brought to you in part by the Cool Change Foundation, a nonprofit corporation dedicated to carrying a message of recovery, positive evolution, motivation, and life enhancement so that you can help yourself to a better tomorrow. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D, where we take a modern approach to dating and relationships. We're your place to get helpful advice and tips, whether you're in a relationship right now or looking to find one. My name's Damona Hoffman, but I also go by Dear Mrs. D, and I'm here to give you the answer to the dating questions you're scared to ask your friends and give you the right relationship advice for your situation. Today, we're discussing one of my favorite topics, the future of online dating. And our guests for today are Julie Spira, publisher and editor-in-chief of Cyber Dating Expert, and later Brian Bowman, CEO of the first social dating network, TheComplete.me, will be joining us. Thanks to all of you for listening on CoolChangeRadio.com, DearMrsD.com, Blog Talk Radio, and on Facebook. You can always catch our recent shows on all of those sites, plus get free dating tips and watch clips of Dear Mrs. D's other recent appearances at YouTube.com/DearMrsD. Since this topic is about online dating and new technology, we are trying something different today. Our guests will both be joining us via Skype. And here we already have on the line the lovely Julie Spira. She is a worldwide online dating expert and dating coach. She's known as the Cyber Dating Expert and has a website of the same name, an early adopter of the internet, and in 1994, while she was a technology executive, Julie created her first online dating profile and started helping singles on the dating scene. She shared her advice on CBS News, Fox News, ABCE, numerous other TV networks, and she's also the author of the best-selling online dating book, The Perils of Cyber Dating: Confessions of a Hopeful Romantic Looking for Love Online. She's also now writing the social media manners book, The Rules of Netiquette: How to Mind Your Manners on the Web. Joining us now on Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D here on the Cool Change Radio and TV network is Julie Spira. Welcome, Julie. I'm so glad you're joining us. So tell our listeners, how did you become the cyber dating expert?
I love that question. I have always been passionate about technology, and I've had my own love affair with technology, and I was, as you said earlier, an early adopter of online dating as a single woman who basically had my heart broken. I thought I was going to marry this guy who was the love of my life, and he broke my heart, and I said, that's it, I'm going online, I'm creating a profile. However, in those days, there were no online dating sites. There was no Match.com. There was no eHarmony. So I became a charter member of I guess you would call it a message board of a chat room called Love at AOL. And of course, we all remember America Online. But in those days, the chat rooms were filled with mostly men, a lot of married men, and we spoke this low dial-up modem. So it would, we would wait 15 minutes before we could even connect, and we'd get a $200 bill at the end of the month. That's what online dating was like in the mid-1990s.
Plus that really annoying dial-up sound, which is not sexy at all.
But as a busy technology executive, I found online dating to be really efficient in meeting quality men. And I was super successful in the process to the point where I started fixing up my friends, writing their profiles. As a matter of fact, one of my friends who married a man she met on JDate, they ended up having the first JDate 50.
Wow.
So it was really interesting. And then in 1995, Match.com became a commercial online dating site. And then 5 years later, so did eHarmony. But people were still shy about telling the truth about where they were meeting because there was still a stigma till maybe about 5 years ago, probably which coincided with the iPhone. What do you think about that?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, when I first met my husband online, we met on Nerve.com almost 10 years ago now. And we didn't tell people at first how we met because it was kind of...
Hush, hush.
Hush, hush, yes. But now it's changed a lot. What do you think is the biggest change in online dating since you began doing it years ago?
hosted the first mobile dating camp. And what's happening is people are doing everything with their mobile phones. Matter of fact, some people sleep with their mobile phones in bed with them. That's how attached they are to mobile. So whether you're buying books, buying shoes, making a hair appointment, or finding a date, everything is really transitioning to dating in a mobile world.
You know, a lot of times people come to me saying they're afraid to try online dating. They're either, you know, scared that they'll be rejected or that it's for losers or that they'll meet someone who lies about who they are, as you were saying. What do you say to those now who are wary of trying online dating, knowing what it has become in recent years?
I say gone are the days of where online dating was a place to go if you were dating challenged. It's a place where really successful CEOs go. It's a place where really beautiful women and models and actresses and celebrities go. And it's a place where the girl next door goes. So there isn't anybody I know that doesn't know someone who met their spouse, as you did, or significant other as a result of online dating. So if you're going in a nail salon, you're going to overhear a conversation about somebody's Match.com date from the night before. That's more common than not mistakes. So I say dip a toe in, make it a free site if you're a little nervous about it, and then we can sort of target in about what specific types of niche sites that might be a good fit for you.
Thank you, Julie. That's a great piece of advice. We're having a little bit of sound trouble here that we're working on, but I think we fixed it. So, what are some of your book is called The Perils of Cyber Dating, right? So, do you think that online dating is inherently dangerous? And if not, what are some of the perils that online daters should be aware of?
I think, honestly, that online dating gets a bad rap. And I think that there are great people online, and there are some creepy people online. But those same people, the good ones and the shadier ones, may end up in your neighborhood bar as well.
Right.
So, and at the end of the day, sometimes you know more about a person if you've met them online from the communication that you've had back and forth than after a few drinks in the neighborhood pub. So I really say that you need to practice really safe dating tips. And online dating safety is a huge hot button for me, as is with the title of my book. And you just need to use common sense and really trust your intuition.
So, do you have your own secrets for finding love online? What pieces of advice can you give our listeners today to have success?
Oh, everybody wants to love and be loved. It's this universal language, and we all really want it. And we sometimes mess up from time to time by going after the same people over and over again. And I think the first thing you need to do is, when I work with singles, we create what I call the irresistible profile. Make sure there's truth in advertising. I can't tell you how many times I argue with someone about lying about their age. As simple as that.
Really?
I mean, I have digital fist fights. I win. I always win. But at the end of the day, I remind them that they have mutual friends. They might have mutual friends on Facebook, and they're going to get busted.
Oh, and eventually you're going to, if you want to have a long-term relationship, they will find out the truth, and then
Right. You start
you'll
with
be
a
holding the
lie.
bag.
The question is well, what else is she lying about? What else is he lying
Oh,
about?
yeah.
Is there really another girlfriend? Is there really a wife at home? Please be honest. Truth in advertising. There's too many ways to check up on someone between Google, Facebook, and background checks, and we don't want to get crazy and obsessed about it. We want to just meet somebody and have a nice date and see where it goes.
Do you think there are other methods that online daters should be using to find love? A lot of times when I work with clients, I say, you know, online dating is one piece of your dating portfolio. What else do you think people should be doing?
I couldn't agree with you more. There is no one way to find the perfect person, and by the way, there is no perfect person. I think the first thing you could do is sort of take a look at your list of priorities and values and then shrink it down to a much smaller list, because the ideal person that you're describing probably will read that description of what someone's looking for online, and they're going to go, oh, God, too high maintenance. I can't match up to that. So shrink down your list. Look at online dating as one of the pieces of, as you say, your dating portfolio. But accept as many invitations as you can to go to events, free concerts, birthday parties. Cast a very, very wide net. You just never know who you'll meet.
Oh, I love that advice because, so many times I hear like this negative dating rhetoric from people, and I'm like, half of it is just the attitude and being positive and feeling like you can meet that person out there. Just shifting your point of view can change everything. It seems like a lot of sites now, like Match and JDate, are doing in-person events. Why do you think online dating is going offline now?
I think online dating and offline dating were always concurrent in people's everyday lives. They're just sort of marrying the two, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. I recently went, just a few days ago, Match.com has, as you know, the Spira events, and I went to a cooking class.
Oh.
And I'm terrible in the kitchen. I'm sorry, but I'm just not great in the kitchen. But I said, it's about time I get a little bit better. Maybe I should brush up on my culinary skills. So I accepted an invitation to go to a cooking class. And the thing that was great about what Match.com did is they had 20 people in the class.
Oh, wait. I want you to share what happened after the break. It'll be a little secret. We do have a break coming up, but Julie will be back with us, and we'll share more of her thoughts on Match.com Stir events and also on the new technology that's affecting online dating. Thanks, Julie. I'm here with Julie Spira, publisher, editor-in-chief of Cyber Dating Expert. This is Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D, broadcasting live from Freddie Siegel Studios. I'm Dear Mrs. D, and we'll be right back.
Today, experience the Quick Fix, a simple process for positive change. Written by Bradley Quick, author, producer, motivational speaker, and host of the award-winning radio talk show, The Quick Fix with Bradley Quick on CoolChangeRadio.com. Bradley's passion for life is evident in his book, written so you can experience health, find your purpose, and have more effective relationships. Beating insurmountable odds, overcoming death, and being paralyzed, Bradley fought his way back so he could help you conquer your struggles. Experience increased health, vitality, passion, and purpose in your life right now with The Quick Fix, and read about Bradley's courage, ambition, and determination to live. Whether the issue is your thoughts, your physical body, or you just want to feel better and be happy, The Quick Fix, a simple process for positive change, will change your life. For only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Take positive action now and receive a free guided meditation CD with your order. That's a $20 value free with your order today. Go to BradleyQuick.com. That's BradleyQuick.com. Take control and begin feeling better now. Get the book and free CD now at BradleyQuick.com.
We're talking love in the modern world. This is Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D.
This has never been attempted before by any treatment center, ever. Seasons Malibu is willing to take the risk because they understand quality care and evidence-based long-term recovery. Pay for only 3 months of treatment and stay until you are better, period. I'll say that one more time. Pay for only 3 months of treatment and stay until you are better. Enough is enough. Seasons Malibu wants to count your days of recovery, not the dollars in your pocket. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just straightforward world-class treatment until you are better. Do not hesitate. Call now. Seasons Malibu, 866-780-8539, 866-780-8539. That's Seasons Malibu at www.seasonsmalibu.com or 866-780-8539, 866-780-8539. For a free consultation and details, 866-780-8539.
Welcome back. You're listening to Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D on Cool Change Radio, your home for self-improvement and a place for positive change. This show is brought to you by DearMrsD.com. Looking for love in all the wrong places? Get the secrets for finding love from someone who did, online. Me. Whether you need help creating a sexy online profile, getting over first date jitters, or keeping relationships going long-term, Dear Mrs. D has something for you. Visit the website, sign up for the newsletter, get a copy of the D is for Dating ebook, or just contact me and I'll be there to help you. So for those of you just joining us on Cool Change Radio, you can listen to this show again or hundreds of hours of self-discovery content anytime you want by simply going to BradleyQuick.com. There you can also sign up for our weekly radio show email reminder, and once a a week. You'll receive the most recent interviews in the comfort of your own home or office, and you can listen at your own convenience. Make sure not to miss your favorite authors, experts, and personalities. Our guest for today is Julie Spira. Her advice has reached millions. She's the go-to person for online dating, has been quoted over 450 times in the media. Her articles have appeared on many relationship and online dating sites, including Betty Confidential, Date Daily, eHarmony, Gal Time, iVillage, Match.com, MSN, Glow, She Knows, Yahoo Shine, Your Tango, Zeus. The list goes on and on. She writes about marriage and love and the marriage of love and technology on Huffington Post, and is the LA dating advice columnist on Examiner.com. So, Julie, before the break, you were talking about a recent event that you went to through Match.com. We were talking about online dating moving offline. So tell me, you went to this event and you were saying there were about 20 people there, and then what happened? It was a cooking event, right?
It was a cooking event, and 20 people had RSVP'd, and I think they did a great job of matching up. There were 50% women, 50% men,
Great.
All age appropriate, within maybe 5 to 10 years age span, and listening to everybody talk about their dating experiences, I have a different kind of eye and ear when it comes to that. And of course, everybody complained about their online dates and how horrible they were. And I'm like, I wrote a whole book on how horrible they could be, but how horrible they were. And I had to stop some people and say, wait a second, how horrible is your attitude? If you're going into a date expecting the worst, you're going to get that. You're going to get the worst.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to sort of, gently reprimand someone who told me he walked out on his date at Starbucks and handed her $5 and said, get your own coffee. You don't look like your picture. Badly behaved. All right, maybe she didn't look like her picture, but she put on her lipstick and she showed up. And what if she had a great sister? So I said to him, you were badly behaved. And he said, she didn't look like her picture. I said, well, maybe you didn't look like yours either. But at the end of the day, everybody enjoyed the event because they felt more comfortable in a group setting. And they didn't feel that pressure of, well, what happens at the end of the date? Do I have to call you again? Do I get your phone number? Do we plan a second date? People could casually exchange cards with each other, and friendships could develop it. So we're taking social dating, which online and offline now is the new trend. Social dating. And that's what these events are all about. They're about socializing in a world with other singles.
Actually, that was what I wanted to talk about next. Later we'll be having Brian Bowman, the CEO of TheComplete.me, and he'll be doing a deep dive into social dating. But maybe you can give a general overview of all the things that social dating encompasses.
I think one of the things that we really learned from Mobile Dating Boot Camp, when we spoke to all of the singles, and they were in their 20s and their early 30s, what would they really want out of a dating site? They loved the mobile, but they'd like it better if somehow Facebook was tied in, or their friends could sort of give that digital seal of approval. And that's what social dating is about. The new sites that are popping up, such as Brian's with TheComplete.me and several others, they're taking into account what are your social behaviors? What's on your Netflix account? Do you want to include your Twitter feed? Things like that, sharing Facebook photos. But the biggest part was everybody wants truth in advertising. So if you have mutual friends in common in Facebook, you're probably going to get an authentic representation of who your date really is.
Do you think that the traditional dating sites will stay the course, or do you think that they will be incorporating, we'll see Match.com and eHarmony incorporating this aspect to a larger degree as well?
I think they already are, and they're smarter if they do, because what's happening is the barrier to entry for mobile dating is so simple and easy. I could create a mobile dating app tomorrow, and it may be super successful. Anybody with a great idea and has some funding behind them can create a mobile app. But what do you do with these traditional sites that have the 10 million users already? How do you keep them loyal to your brand?
Right.
So Match Mobile does a really great job with their mobile apps, and eHarmony has a very separate app for their iPad that I think is one of the most beautiful iPad apps I've ever seen. So they are embracing the newer technologies. and they understand that they need to do this to retain their customers, and give them a choice of, do you want to date on mobile, or do you want to date traditionally on your iPad or on your desktop? And so anybody that doesn't have a mobile strategy is going to be left behind.
Right. Right. Well, I often wonder, do people come to online dating to be social, or is it something that they want to do with some anonymity? Like, will these new technologies that actually incorporate your real identity, like the Complete.me, will it sort of create a whole different dating industry? And then the people that do want to kind of stay behind that wall of, this is my online dating persona, will they continue to stay with different sites, or will it merge?
Well, I think the simpler a mobile app is, the easier it is for somebody to be able to embrace it. And so I found with Mobile Dating Bootcamp that even with OkCupid, they loved OkCupid, but they didn't always want the OkLocals app turned on for people to see when they were out and about and where they were. So having the ability to turn push notifications on and off, and the ability to say where you are in real time, is something that you as the user need to control in a privacy setting, I believe.
So we're starting to get a little bit into location-based dating as well. And you mentioned there was a focus group panel that you did a couple of months ago at the iDate conference, and you took, as you said, you organized a group of young daters. They were all under 30 that were testing out sort of mobile dating and location-based dating services. Can you talk a little bit, just for those who don't know these services, what that exactly means, the location-based component, and how that is really changing online dating as we know it right now?
Sure, absolutely. Mobile dating, where you basically download an app on your mobile phone, and that's the only way that you access it. It's a new hot trend. So even there are apps out there such as Badoo, Meet, Are You Interested? There are several apps that Grindr, Blender. They're just mobile apps only. They don't really have a web-based version. And they skew younger, and there's lots of hookups. But for those who aren't looking for a relationship, it's a great way to develop a bigger social network. And that's what social dating is about. It's not necessarily about falling in love, but it's about expanding your social network. And that's what mobile does a great job of.
Do you think it has the perception of being sketchy? Like, I know a lot of times people hear about Grindr and they think like it's all hookups, and I wouldn't do something like that. In a way, I guess online dating also had a stigma for a long time. Do you think that there is a stigma still for online dating, and do you think the stigma, if you agree that there is one, for location-based dating will be going away in the future?
It's almost like my mobile phone is replacing my iPad, which replaced my laptop, which replaced my desktop. Yes,
which replaced my word processor.
It's a digital evolution, and the fax machine is history. It's
right.
A digital evolution, and so I think that you're going to see people it's just like, is color TV going to ruin black and white? Is TV going to ruin radio? There's always going to be a place for a person that wants that anonymity, who wants to have that privacy. They may go with a traditional matchmaker, and they're going to put up a profile that doesn't have their real name on it. There's always going to be people like that. But I think the stigma is really gone, and I credit Facebook for that. Because people are spending so much time exploiting their personal lives and their birthday parties and their vacations, and posting every goofy shot you can imagine on Facebook, and saying when you're taking a nap on Twitter. So we're coming from a society that wants to share to the point of oversharing. And so I think there needs to be a nice balance between the two. There really does, especially as a woman.
Yeah. We have just a little bit of time left, but Julie, you offer a service called Irresistible Profiles. What do you think are the must-haves in an irresistible profile?
That is a great question. I'm just getting ready to start another one. Irresistible Profiles really needs to have a catchy screen name, great photos, 3 to 5 and, stay within a certain word count.
I'm so glad you said 3 to 5 too, because I say that and people look at me like I'm crazy. Like you were just saying with Facebook, you can put up, a gajillion photos, but on a dating site, it's too many.
It is to me, so I'm going to give you an example. This guy's fabulous. He's never married. He's 55. He owns a house. He's a great catch. And his profile has his first and last name as his screen name, not too catchy. And then he posted 26 photos. And I said, this isn't Facebook. And one of the 26, he wasn't wearing a shirt.
Stop.
I said, we're going to change this.
Yeah, Julie, I really, everything that you've done as an online dating coach, I love hearing your thoughts on the industry, and I so appreciate what you've done to pave the way for all of us who are helping people find love in the cyber dating world. I think your advice is always top notch. If you're listening at home and you want to learn more about Julie Spira, go to cyberdatingexpert.com. That's www.cyberdatingexpert.com. If you have questions about the show, post them to our wall, Dating Expert Dear Mrs. D. That's facebook.com/Dear Mrs. D. And this week, we will answer your questions online. And I can also have Julie answer them on her Facebook page as well. While you're there, make sure to like both pages so you can stay in the dating conversation. And coming up after the break, we will have Brian Bowman, the CEO of a revolutionary new approach to online dating at thecomplete.me. Thank you so much for joining us, Julie. Stay tuned.
There are self-help seminars costing thousands of dollars guaranteeing miraculous transformations. There are compelling speakers and life-changing weekend experiences where you can walk on fire. They all deliver revelations that guarantee you'll come back for the more expensive revelations filled with even greater wonder next month on Fiji. We get addicted to positive, heartfelt, expensive theater. What we really need is a jumpstart, an awakening, someone who can give us a reminder that everything we need lies within. Through inspiration and practical knowledge, Dorothy Donahue helps people get grounded and motivated, inspired and energized. It's not just words and affirmations and the power of intention. It's a mindset brought about by a tangible, transcendental experience, an audio-visual, physical, spiritual experience that helps us realize we transform ourselves. We get tools to become the conscious co-creators of lives of unlimited potential. Find out more. Go to DorothyDonahue.com.
Don't touch that dial. This is Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D.
I'm Melody Beattie, author of Codependent No More. 7 times more Americans have hepatitis C than AIDS. I'm one of them. If you're one of the millions of Americans with hepatitis C and your doctors are treating you with interferon, then you're clearly aware of how your life has been turned horribly upside down. Backed by huge pharmaceutical monies, the medical community swears there's only one dangerous, disabling way to battle this silent killer. It's not true. There are alternatives, and they work. Triumph Over Hepatitis C is a book written by best-selling author Lloyd Wright, who fully recovered from this frightening disease. Lloyd is helping others to take charge of their lives and fight for their body's freedom from this crippling illness. His program is working for me. Call the people at Hepatitis C Free now at 866-HEP-C-FREE. That's 866-HEP-C-FREE. Don't become another medical statistic. Find out the truth about hepatitis C and get your life back.
Get your copy of Triumph Over Hepatitis C at Barnes & Noble and at hepatitiscfree.com. Call 866-HEP-C-FREE.
Welcome back. You're listening to Cool Change Radio, your home for self-improvement and a place to find your passion and purpose. I'm Dear Mrs. D, and we're talking about doing something different with your dating life. And with us now is Brian Bowman, the CEO of the first social dating network, thecomplete.me. This site helps singles easily share who they're using their interests, easily share their interests, their experiences, and mutual friends from their social networks with complete control over who sees what and when. 2-minute profiles created from users of Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, PhotoBucket, Flickr, Foursquare, Goodreads, and Instagram networks. They use their photos, their interests, their likes, their friends, and updates. And that helps create a richer, more authentic online experience. So thank you for joining us, Brian. We have you on Skype here, right? Are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great, we can hear you. Okay, the Skype thing is new for us on on Dates and Mates. So I'm excited that it's working out. So, Brian, I have to admit that I've had this idea for a while that the next evolution of online dating was going to be at the intersection with social media. So how did you get the idea for the Complete.me and begin to execute it?
Sure. Well, I was vice president of product strategy at Match, and then I was vice president of community at Yahoo. Mm-hmm. And in those two roles that I figured out, one, dating isn't working in the way it currently is designed. It's not a lot of fun, and it could be done better. And as kind of proof of that, by the way, I met my wife using online dating, and I cost $20. So that's my going rate. I was convinced there's a better way of doing it, and we spent the last couple of years, building up the site.
So how does a user create their profile with the Complete.me exactly?
Sure. Well, you just go to Facebook and you can type the Complete.me. You click and register. We connect, download your interests, your information, your photos, and then you have complete control over what you share and what you don't share. So as an example, we ask you a few dating basic questions, kids, income, religion, ethnicity, smoking, drinking, those kind of things. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the data is downloaded from Facebook. And so we're saving people time. And what you can do is, say, for example, you've got, 100 photo albums. We're only going to show your Facebook profile photos and your wall photos by default. Everything else is set to private. So you can choose, should I put myself in that hot bikini or in that, sexy pose on or off? Should I make it private or public? And by the way, you don't have to show everybody. You can just show one person. So you have control over how you share that information. But the point is, you don't have another social network to maintain. You don't have another thing you have to go out and try and take care of. We do that for you.
And you can update your profile at any time and toggle who sees what.
Yeah, not only can you update it, it updates for you. So say for instance, you post on Facebook photos of your good time over the weekend. It will automatically update for you. Again, you can turn that off, or you can leave it on. One of the things that guys were requesting in particular is the ability to put in LinkedIn. So we connected with LinkedIn. You can download your professional profile.
So you can show how successful in business you are and how much money you make.
Believe it or not, it's about am I real?
Yeah.
And do I have friends? Do we know people in common? Am I an authentic person? And so that was the reason people were asking for those kinds of connections.
So what if, there's some people that have a Facebook profile but don't put a lot of information on it? What is the process like if someone, they must have one of these profiles, that existing profiles, or can they just go in and start fresh if they don't have a Facebook or a LinkedIn or something like that?
So LinkedIn is not required. The only thing that is required is Facebook.
Okay.
So as an example, I'm married, and with the exception of me and a couple people in the company, if you're married, you can't get into the service. So unlike eHarmony or Match or Zoosk or one of those services where they allow married people into the platform, we block you immediately.
That explains, because I was trying to just check it out, and that explains why it wouldn't let me in. I'm very married, yeah. It was just a looky-loo. But that's good.
We can talk a little bit about what we're doing in a moment, but the idea is if you're married on Facebook, we prevent you from coming in. And so that if you choose to change your relationship status on Facebook to single, at least your significant other knows that you've made that change. So you got to have a Facebook profile. You got to have a certain number of friends and photos into the system. And the reason for that is we want to know, did you just create this profile yesterday? Is it fraudulent? Do you have fake people in there, or is it real? And so the idea is just raise the bar some so that people feel more comfortable about the folks that they're about to meet. In particular, how cool is it when you think about going out with your guy friends or your girlfriends? Virtually no one goes out alone, right? You usually go out with friends in some form or another. You may meet up, but usually you go out with someone. On the internet today, dating is just this kind of social vacuum. You can't go out with friends because of the business model. So they prohibit you from letting people know who you know in common. And we believe that's backwards. Like it's much more comfortable if you know we both know Lisa how nice would it be if the date goes good or doesn't go well,
Yeah.
that we both can reach out to her and find out more.
I totally agree. So those of you who are just joining us, we're here with Brian Bowman, the CEO of social dating network, TheComplete.me. Prior to TheComplete.me, Brian was the VP of product at Match.com and was responsible for product strategy, analytics, and customer care. His efforts resulted in a 30% increase in revenue and a 67% increase in customer registrations. He also launched Match's friend social network and initiated the acquisition of ZeroDegrees.com. That's a business networking company. So, Brian, once a profile is created on TheComplete.me, how does the matching work? Is it different from online dating sites as we know them today?
Yeah, so let me answer this backwards.
Okay.
First, I think if your viewers, listeners can go to Scientific America and just Google like snake oil matching. It's basically Eli Finkel, who's a PhD from Northwestern University, has written this kind of scathing review of what I would call scientific matching. So eHarmony, chemistry, perfect match, companies of that ilk. It just doesn't work. Like there's no scientific evidence by anyone who's external from those companies that's been peer reviewed that says a Myers-Briggs personality can predict relationship success. In fact, we all know that opposites attract. And so this kind of marketing spiel that we've been sold, it just doesn't work. So what we're doing that's different, we call it interest matching. And already in our system, we have 51 million types of interests. So things ranging from trail running, Bikram yoga, I mean, literally any movie, any book, any hobby, anything you can think of. And what you can do is find someone who likes Bikram yoga, trail running, and whatever it is that's in your local area. And so it gives you this ability to get really unique and pick out the things that are of most interest to you.
I see. So why create something separate? Like you were the VP of product at Match. Why not just roll this out as a feature for a site like that?
Sure. Well, ironically, I was in the room and, when the decision was made at Match to ignore the social web. And as a little background, I mean, obviously I and no one else in the room could have imagined how big Facebook, or at that time, Friendster, how big these companies would have become. It boils down to something pretty basic. In almost all major dating sites today, if you want to talk to someone, you have to subscribe. So it's free to look at pictures, but if you want to talk or email them, you have to pay a monthly subscription fee. Now, what you don't know is that other person subscribing too? So you may have your hopes up and you find someone that you're interested in, you send them a message and you never hear back from them.
Yeah,
in
that
fact,
happens all the
the
time.
response rate is less than 10%.
Yeah.
And so the issue is the businesses today cannot share real contact information, real information about you. If they did, they would blow up their existing business models, and they're not going to do it. It's not because consumers don't want to share this information. They actually have been asking for it for more than a decade. It's just the businesses haven't changed, they haven't pivoted to embrace kind of anything that's happened in the past decade with any form of social networking. So I just think there's a large opportunity to change the way that dating works today, kind of redefine it into this broader category I call social discovery, which is about meeting new people. It's not necessarily just dating. So there's this whole new advent of possibilities that are coming up.
And with traditional online dating sites, there's always that concern that the person you're talking to isn't really who they say they are. So how does the Complete.me change that perception? I've read that your users earn something called a .me score.
Sure.
What is that exactly?
Sure. Well, there's a couple things. First, and I think most importantly, is when you connect with Facebook, you can see someone's friends. And the comforting thing is, do you know someone in common? Boom. Then it's natural, right? Just like regularly meeting someone in a grocery store, church, or work, or wherever you pick up, people to meet. Or you can see who you know professionally in common if you connect with Twitter or LinkedIn or one of those services. If you don't do that, what we've taken is the ability for you to be 100% anonymous. You don't have to disclose your identity. You don't have to share who you are. But we know, the computer knows, how many friends, contacts, and followers you have, how many photo albums you have, when did you set up your Facebook account? And all of those things go into this algorithm that help us create a measure of authenticity. Are you really who you say you are?
And is that visible to the other users or just visible to the site?
So, funny. I'll link to the site because we took it down for a moment. But within the next week, we're going to put that back up.
Got it.
And yes, when you go to contact someone, you'll see it's a 0 to 100, 100 being the best. And it's similar for those who are familiar with the kind of social web with a company called Clout.
Right.
They measure something differently.
I'm obsessed with my Clout score. Brian, after the break, I'd love to get your predictions for the future of online dating. With so much technology available to us now and rolling out in the coming years, I'm sure the industry will continue to evolve. So I really want to hear your opinion on how you think it'll be changing. Make a note. You can listen to this show again on youtube.com/Dear Mrs. D. That's our YouTube channel, and it has helpful dating tips and videos all for free. youtube.com/Dear Mrs. D. Stay put. You're in the right place. More of Brian Bowman and the complete.me when we get back. You're listening to Cool Change Radio, your home for self-discovery. We are broadcasting live from the Freddie Siegel Studios.
Get quality goods for less from Bag City, serving all of Reno, Denver, Las Vegas, Bakersfield, Salt Lake City, Los Angeles, and many more cities. Up to 70% below retail on everything. Coin purses, wallets, organizers, purses, briefcases, backpacks, travel and garment bags, and ladies' and men's leather jackets. All discounted, all up to 70% below retail. Bag City, the best for less? Bag City serving all of Reno, Denver, Las Vegas, Bakersfield, Salt Lake City, Los Angeles, and many more cities. Contact Bag City at 818-990-1795. That's Bag City, quality goods for less money. Bag City, where 15% of all sales go to local charities. You can't beat that. You help local charities while getting quality goods at up to 70% below retail. Contact Bag City now at 818-990-1795. Contact Bag City today and get quality goods for less money. That's 818-990-1795. Shop Bag City to save. Shop Bag City for charity. Bag City, 818-990-1795.
We'll be back in a moment with more Dates and Mates with Dear Mrs. D.
Today, experience the Quick Fix, a simple process for positive change. Written by Bradley Quick, author, producer, motivational speaker, and host of the award-winning radio talk show, The Quick Fix with Bradley Quick on CoolChangeRadio.com. Bradley's passion for life is evident in his book, written so you can experience health, find your purpose, and have more effective relationships. Beating insurmountable odds, overcoming death, and being paralyzed, Bradley fought his way back so he could help you conquer your struggles. Experience increased health, vitality, passion, and purpose in your life right now with The Quick Fix, and read about Bradley's courage, ambition, and determination to live. Whether the issue is your thoughts, your physical body, or you just want to feel better and be happy, The Quick Fix, a simple process for positive change, will change your life. For only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Take positive action now and receive a free guided meditation CD with your order. That's a $20 value free with your order today. Go to BradleyQuick.com. That's BradleyQuick.com. Take control and begin feeling better now. Get the book and free CD now at BradleyQuick.com.
Welcome back. Thanks to all of you for joining us on CoolChangeRadio.com, on Facebook, Blog Talk Radio, and YouTube. As you know, you can catch our live and recorded shows at YouTube.com/Dear Mrs. D. That's Dear Mrs. D's YouTube channel, and it's Dear Mrs. D, YouTube.com/Dear Mrs. D. Also, make sure you go to DearMrsD.com, where you can get your clips, tips, and dating support. You're listening to Cool Change Radio, broadcasting live from Freddie Siegel Studios. Cool Change Radio would like to recognize our other talk shows: Saving Lives with Susan Blauner, Love, Serve People, Feed People, and Remember God with Michael Brian Baker, and of course, The Quick Fix with Bradley Quick. So we're here now with Brian Bowman, CEO of the first social media dating site, thecomplete.me. Sometimes you call it a social discovery site, right, Brian? So you're a businessman. You've worked in a variety of industries, not just in the online space. But what do you think that online dating can learn from other forms of media and technology?
Sure. Well, ironically, dating was one of the first businesses on the internet. I mean, Match started back in 1994, 1995. Ironically, the woman, Fran Mayer, who was the original kind of creator of the product, is involved in our company. And we were laughing the other day. She's like, it hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. The profile is the same. The experience is the same. Right. If you think about that in any other industry, right, the pace of innovation is tectonic in dating. I mean, it's incredibly slow. Mm-hmm. Look at Facebook or LinkedIn or Google Plus or Clout. It's all about real identity, right? Who am I in the real world? So I think dating, one, is going to get social. Two, it's going to get mobile. And three, it's going to be real identity. So that this kind of concept of stigma, is the person really who they say they are they married or worse? That all melts away as soon as you kind of layer in Facebook and some of the social technologies. So I think that helps an awful lot.
Definitely.
And then probably what I think is what I would call like more fun, this concept of like a 2-hour personality profile or this, 1990s model of a kind of classified ad, that melts away. Think about like Flipboard or Pinterest or some of these like kind of Instagram. It's all visual pictures, easy to kind of get through. That's what dating is becoming, right? It's this no more static profiles. It's things that are updated in real time, visually based, that helps me kind of at a high level understand, do we share the similar kind of movies, books, activities, hobbies, and then of course the basics, right? One of the things that I'm confident will roll out soon, much like Airtime, the new company from the former president of Facebook, is just free video chat. So, if you like someone and you've got kids, boy, it takes a lot of time and effort to get a babysitter and to set up.
It does.
Right? Are you ready to go out with me? Do you want to know the person snorts before you get, to the dinner? I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. So all of that's possible in video chat, and it's just been gated because of the business model. So I think all of that changes.
And right now, you've launched as the free beta service. Are there plans to make it? You will always be free.
Yes.
So that's another issue, I guess, with the online dating industry as it exists right now. It's like the pay for access, and you're giving it to them for free. How does that work?
Yeah, so to be clear, it's not pay to access; it's pay to communicate. That's the old
pay to
model,
communicate.
Right? So free to use, free to look around, but
you can't do anything.
To talk to someone. You can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
You can look. If you kind of pull back and say, well, what's the bigger things going on in the industry as a whole, not just dating, but in social in general, Facebook's this interesting place, right? It's about maintaining the relationships with people you know and trust. It's very difficult inside of Facebook to meet new people. They just don't enable it.
Right.
In fact, they seem to be going in a direction similar to a company called Path, which is, me and my significant other and getting really close in those relationships and us sharing information versus going out and meeting new people. So this concept of meeting new people is often referred to as social discovery. And there's a suite of really interesting companies: Mingle, Circle, Banjo, Highlight, Sonar, Intro, Glancy, Meet Me, etc., that are about flirting, meeting new people, and also just meeting people for things like I got diagnosed with something, or I have a need around the home, etc. So there's this huge multi-billion-dollar category that is broader than just dating. It's about meeting people. I mean, think about if the dating sites do their job right, as soon as you meet someone, you leave. And so it's this temporary, always kind of fleeting in and fleeting out people. So I think there's a bigger opportunity.
But it seems like a lot of the sites would consider themselves embracing social plus dating. So there's How About We, and the site I met my husband on Nerve. Now they're inviting users to have more dialogue about what they do and what they want to do on dates. So how's that different from what you guys do, and why do you think their models may or may not be successful down the road?
I like How About We. I think it's a great site. I think they're doing something interesting. It's really kind of the Groupon of dating. It's a very different approach than what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is say, you're living your life out in the social web. You are doing the things that you do. It's very different than me sitting down and creating this Renaissance version of Brian. Here's my 25 questions, my 6 carefully crafted, perfect photos of me in the right light, so I look, lighter and younger. This is just me doing my thing, right? And I'm snapping in these pieces from around the web. And my heart, and part of what I've been excited about in building the company, is I'm confident there are many people for everyone, right? Someone special for everyone. And in a dating site today, really what you are as a photo, you're not a person. And so the most attractive people, physically attractive, get a lot of the attention versus someone who is normal looking but shares my interests. Man, she becomes very attractive to me. And that just doesn't bubble up in any of the existing experiences, whether it's Nerve or How About We or even Zeus. They just don't enable those types of social discovery components. And so we're first to market. We've got good traction, and we're growing.
Mm-hmm. And one of your investors is actually the behemoth dating site Plenty of Fish, right?
Yeah.
Can you give some insights as to why they would seemingly be betting against themselves?
You'd have to ask Marcus that one. We have three really great investors. So Intel Capital, Crunch Fund, which is Michael Arrington's company, and for those familiar with the internet, he is a phenomenal resource. He started TechCrunch, and then of course Plenty of Fish. And the idea behind why Marcus invested, at least from what he's shared with me, is he's all about mobile. And if you read his blog and you follow what he's doing, about 40% of his users are now accessing his service via a mobile device. And so he's really focused on that and globally expanding. When we spoke, he's like, look, I'm not doing social. You're doing social. My bet's in you that you're going to get it right and you're going to do it. And to your point about other dating services, look, there is no one shoe fits all in dating. Right. There's lots of vertical dating. There's lots of specific needs that people have. And I think consumers should test out a few dating sites to see what's right for them. And that's the beauty of the industry as a whole, is it's very diverse, it's very broad. And for the first time, we're, breathing new life and new concepts into what people can experience.
Absolutely. Do you think that online dating as we know it will go away? Do you have predictions for what, the traditional online dating sites will be experiencing in the next year? And how about in the next 5 years?
It's funny. A couple jobs ago, I worked for InfoSpace up in Seattle, and they run a service called Dogpile and Metacrawler and WebCrawler. I mean, we're talking, early 90s kind of stuff.
Right.
AOL still exists. The point of that little tangent there is stuff on the internet never dies. It just becomes less interesting. And I believe we are there. I believe the kind of old dating sites of Match and eHarmony and Zoosk, et cetera, have reached their maturity and are on the downswing. And that there are companies like us that are on the upswing, and we're redefining the industry. And the reason I feel confident in saying that, if you look, again, macro on what's going on, and not to nerd out for a second, but semantic analysis and natural language processing, if you think about Amazon and Netflix, not only do they know what you like to read and what you like to watch, but they make recommendations based on books you may like and movies you may like. Right. Well, we know all of that data too, and it helps us present to you better, smarter people. So when you really bring in all of this social data, there's a new type of matching that's enabled that just makes it fun, easy, simple for people to find someone that shares a really kind of long tail, unique interests. Mm-hmm. And traditional dating sites can't do that. That's true. How we make money, by the way, it's very similar to Zynga, right? It's microtransactions and a freemium model. So we're never going to charge you to talk to someone. Chat, video chat, messaging will always be free. We're going to help you meet somebody that you're interested in meeting and hopefully convince you to spend a little bit of money with us.
Can you explain? I understand microtransactions, but I'm sure many of our listeners don't know what that means. Can you just give a brief understanding for them?
Sure. So I threw out two phrases. Sorry, microtransactions and
you are nerding out right now.
I nerded out. Freemium model is like LinkedIn, 100% free to use, better when you pay. So you get advanced searching and advanced filtering. That's a component of the business model. Microtransactions are you pay a little bit for placement. You pay a little bit for unlocking certain components of the profile. And so it's like coins or tokens, those kind of things. Now, what we intend on doing is if you invite your friends or you take other actions on the service, it's called gamification. We'll reward you by giving you tokens that then you can use for placing yourself next to someone you're interested in or getting inside of an email that goes to Lisa and you know you're interested in her. So it's not just about how do we milk the consumer for money. It's really about how do we help you get to the person that you're interested in meeting.
What about like virtual gifts and that sort of thing?
That's exactly.
Can somebody send me
right.
like virtual flowers?
Virtual flowers, yeah.
But I can't get on because I'm married.
So
that's
to
good.
That point, soon we will allow married people in, and I'm not going to disclose why, but married people can't talk to single people and vice versa unless you're friends on Facebook. But there's a reason that we're allowing people in, and that should be within the next week.
Okay, I will take a look, and I will keep my eyes peeled for that. You want to learn more about Brian and thecomplete.me? I learned quite a bit on blog.thecomplete.me, and you can also take the plunge and set up your profile on thecomplete.me. Get started. It's free, so you really have nothing to lose.